Hello there. If this is your first time here, welcome to the channel. If it's not your first time here, welcome back. If my voice sounds a little odd, it's because it's the change of seasons. When it changes from autumn to winter and winter to spring, I tend to get a little bit more congested, so that can affect how I sound. Maybe about 20 minutes or so before I started this recording, I finished the Age of Samurai series on Netflix. I decided that I would make a video of my overall thoughts. I will pause in order to organize my thoughts and stuff like that, but for the most part, well, not for the most part, this is unscripted. I just want to give my overall opinions on the matter. I'm not going to go into as much detail as I did with the initial reaction to the trailer type of thing. I spent more than 20 minutes talking about a 2-minute trailer. If I go into that kind of detail here, geez, that would be a very long video. So I'm just going to talk on overall. Depending on what people say, maybe if enough of you want me to, maybe I'll make a video episode by episode series of videos breaking down each episode. I don't know. We'll see how much interest there is in that before we talk about it. Like with the trailer, I tried to avoid watching too many other reactions. I did watch a small little 3-minute one by somebody who I cannot recall at the moment. But the Shogunate, Japan at War, Metatron, and Anthony Cummins from the Samurai and Ninja History channels, they've all also done things on different degree of opinions and reactions and reviews of the series. I'll link those down in the description below for each of those channels. So I'm going to do what could be called a compliment or criticism sandwich kind of thing. I guess it's something, that's what they call it, something like that. I'm going to start off with something kind of positive or at the very least neutral. And then in the middle, I'm going to have my criticisms. And then I'm going to also try to do something positive at the end. I think it'd be positive, but maybe people will disagree because there will be some criticisms in the end part as well, but it will overall be positive. This is basically audio only. I'm not really going to show anything on the screen, so you can listen to it in the background or not be watching or something like that. I'm not going to show clips or stills or anything in this because I'm hoping this will be a fairly short video. I'm going to try to keep myself from rambling too much. So the first part, which is the positive, possibly neutral part, is this is a series about the Sengoku period, which is not something that you see a whole lot of attention given in the West, at least nowadays. A few decades ago, it was at least more interest in it than there is nowadays, but there's not a whole lot, it seems like, nowadays in the West. So to bring this topic to light is a positive, I think. And despite what I may have said in my trailer video and what I might say in this, I do hope that this does fairly well, at least to some degree. I hope that maybe it will inspire some people to learn about the period. If in a very similar way, things happened to me in that way that I got into this when I was younger. But so perhaps, hopefully, it can be a gateway to get people interested in, maybe if not into the period specifically, but into Japanese history in general, or Japanese culture, or something like that. Japanese studies in general has also taken quite a hit in the last several years, so maybe this will renew interest in it, despite what I say about the quality of certain parts of it. And because of that, that's why I'm hoping that it does well, because if it does do well, then perhaps more people will see that there's enough interest and that there can be something to put money into it in order to make better quality material, both in terms of entertainment and in terms of educational material. The negative, I have to say, is almost all about the drama portion of this series, the reenactments. It's not good. The reenactment parts are not that great in terms of historical authenticity. And I'm using authenticity kind of loosely. I know that it cannot be completely historically accurate, but I'm judging it based on, does it kind of give the feel of late 16th century Japan? And to me, it fails in a number of ways with that. Now, I realize that I am not their intended audience. I've spent quite a long time studying this sort of stuff, and their intended audience is people who have little to no knowledge of this period. So they're not going to be as knowledgeable about it, and these inaccuracies aren't going to pull them out of it as much as it does for me. But like I mentioned in the trailer video, Ashigaru, they're all wearing either no armor or leather studded armor, and they're carrying mostly naginata. There is no plural in Japanese. They're all either carrying naginata, matchlocks, or bows. And that's pretty much, it's kind of crazy to see Ashigaru wearing the leather studded armor. And the samurai armor is not all that much better. It's awkward for the time period, and you see people wearing it wrong in a number of scenes, and even parts of it are put on backwards at times. The battles take place in almost all of them take place in the same forest, and they even reuse footage again and again in different battles. The three famous commanders that they show, or all four, Nobunaga, to some degree less so, but definitely Hideyoshi, Ieyasu, and Masamune, they're shown as like frontline killing machines, cutting people down left and right with their katanas. Again, I said that in the trailer thing, but now that I've seen the whole video, the whole series, it's katanas. The closest thing I remember to seeing a tachi, which was more accurate for the period for samurai, was Nobunaga wearing a katana tied with rope like a tachi, it looked like in one scene, or a couple scenes. It was not even close. There's chairs all over the place in scenes. I mean, Toyotomi Hideyoshi, he ends up like sitting in a throne almost type of situation because he's sitting in chairs. Now, historically, there were Chinese and eventually Western chairs for the very rich in Japan. But, Hideyoshi wasn't sitting on one ruling over the others as if it were a throne. And amazingly, it seems everybody had beds as well. Maybe not fancy beds, but they had beds up off the floor on a wooden frame with a mattress, no futon rolled out on the floor, none of that, no. But I could go on and on and on. In my personal opinion, it fails overall at setting a relatively accurate depiction of 16th century Japan in a number of ways. Does it fail completely and totally? I don't want to say that it fails completely in that, but there are a number of things that make it tough if you know about the period, that will make it tough to the kind of like immersion breaking details. So yeah, the drama section I was not too big of a fan of in terms of the historical authenticity. Action wise, it wouldn't be too bad, but like I say, they show the battles in the same forest, they reuse footage over and over, and it just kind of gets repetitive and dull when you're seeing a battle take place in the same forest with the same footage that they used for a battle that took place 30 years ago. Which is another part of the problem for the drama thing, is that they try to cover about a 60 or so time period, which means they had to leave a lot of stuff out, which I understand. You can't cover everything. So this part is more opinion. There were a number of things along that time period that I don't think they should have cut out that they did. Like, I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head. Nobunaga's relationship with Yoshiaki. The importance of Admiral Yi and the Korean Navy during the invasions of Korea. Hideyoshi and Shibata Katsuie, they seem to be starting to fight right off the bat after Nobunaga dies. They don't talk about the Kyosu Conference or Sambushi or any of that stuff. So those are just a few of the things. All right, I'm going to keep that. I'm going to end that there because, I don't want to go on too long about that. And I want to go into the positive. The really positive stuff, for the most part, was the historians and the experts. They had a lot of things to say. And I found that interesting. Although a lot of it was stuff that I already knew. For somebody coming in not knowing this sort of stuff, I thought that it was good that they had them in there. They were talking about various things. Although, like usual, they're really chopped up and edited, which the experts and the academics and historians, they have nothing to do with that. From what I understand, they basically, from what I hear, I don't know if it's true, they basically recorded they were sent questions, and then they were told to go to a studio to record this, and they they sent the digital recordings to them because, with the cough and all that, I'm not even totally sure if we're still the bug. I'm not sure if I would be allowed to say what it is because YouTube's really tough, but because we all know what it is, and that's why they had to do it that way. So, but in any documentary, they'll interview or they'll have them talking for like an hour or two, and then they'll keep chopping them up into 30-second, 45-second, 2-minute little clips here and there and that, and they'll be all edited. But that was the best part, in my opinion. Although they do have some parts where some of the experts do sound a bit hyperbolic, kind of fanboyish. Oh, the sword, the samurai sword is the greatest sword, and blah blah blah, and this and that. Those sound like sound bits for the for the trailer, to hype things up a bit. And there are some historical inaccuracies, which is a problem. One that sticks out the most to me is the one where one of the historians is talking about after the incident at Honoji, when Akechi Mitsuhide kills Nobunaga, or well, Nobunaga kills himself technically. He says that Mitsuhide then had to go to Azuchi Castle to attack and kill Nobutada, Nobunaga's son. Oda Nobutada was not at Azuchi at that point. He was a few blocks away in Kyoto, which is where his father was staying, was in Kyoto at Honoji. And Nobutada was a few blocks away, I think it was, at Myokakuji, another Hokkeshu or Lotus sect, more commonly known as Nichiren Buddhism. Just like Honoji was a part of the Hokke sect. Myokakuji was also a place that Nobunaga liked to stay at quite a bit when he was in Kyoto. So they were both in Kyoto, and they were both at Hokkeshu temples that night. And Mitsuhide did burn down Azuchi Castle, but that was later. That was not in order to go get Nobutada, because Nobutada wasn't there. So that was one of, and I mean, something that serious really should be something that they wouldn't get wrong. There has been some other criticisms regarding the experts, like the only ones to talk about the women in history were the women historians and experts, and that was all they talked about. And there was the lack of Japanese historians in it. I mean, I really can't argue against that. I mean, if that's important and that's an issue to you, then that's important and an issue to you. And I can definitely see the point that, there's only a couple of female academics on there, and all they talked about was the women in the history, pretty much. So, yeah, and there's only 2, maybe 3 Japanese. Well, there was like 2 or 3 Japanese-speaking Japanese historians, and then there was another historian of Japanese descent. who spoke English. I don't think she's actually Japanese American, though. I think she probably immigrated, although I don't know her exact story, so I can't say. But like I was saying in my overview of the trailer, my reaction to the trailer, whatever, my thoughts on the trailer, I thought that the interview parts might be the highlight of it, and it was. But that's also me because I'm kind of a history geek. I'm a history nerd, and I love Japanese history. I could sit there and listen to most of these people talk and be like, yep, all right, I'm down with that. I'm cool. I don't need the drama stuff, the dramatic part of it and all that. I don't need the recreations of the battles and all that. Which, don't get me wrong, when they're done right, I like watching those too. I don't feel like they're really done right in this particular case. I was not a huge fan of it. But I would like the thing to succeed. I would like the series to succeed. I want to get more people interested in Japanese history, Japanese culture, particularly samurai history and culture, the real samurai history and culture. Not movies, TV shows, all that stuff. They're great. They're awesome. They're fun entertainment. But I like to get more stuff out there about the real history and all that things. And if this starts people down that path, then hey, that's a net plus. At the end of the day, if you found it at least entertaining, then I guess that's a plus too. It's if all the historical inaccuracies and inauthenticities don't matter and you just find it entertaining, then fine. If it was just a drama, it was just a movie, just a fictional series, I would give it more passes. But it's supposed to be at least partially documentary as well, which was the people talking. But but if this gets more people into Japanese history and culture, if it creates more educational material on it, or more historical fiction that is more historically authentic than this is, then good, I say. And I'm already past 18 minutes. I can't believe how fast time flies. I'm sorry I've been rambling on for this long. But like I said, let me know what you guys think. If enough people are interested, then maybe I will do an episode by episode breakdown and opinions, and I'll be kind of pedantic like I was in my trailer version and stuff like that. And again, I will link down in the description the links for the Shogunate, Japan at War, Metatron, and Samurai and Ninja Histories, their videos, or at least partially, because Anthony Cummings in the Samurai and Ninja History page, he did several. He did an episode by episode thing. I didn't watch them. I haven't watched any of these ones that I'm going to be linking, but I know he did them episode by episode, so I'll just link one of them, probably like for the first episode, and then you guys can figure it out from there if you want to keep watching. But yeah, I didn't expect this to be almost 20 minutes, so I'm going to get going. Thank you so much if you're still here. I really appreciate you giving me the time to listen to me droning on about this stuff. And I hope you come back for my next video. Till then, take care, everybody. Bye for now.